everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to make a necklace using these tassels from the Curated bead box. So Kathy had asked that I come up with something to use these tassels in, and that's what this necklace is going to be today. So first of all, our encouraging word for today is be brave and keep going. I like that one because, you don't have to be all that smart, you don't have to be all that pretty, you don't have to even be all that talented. I think a lot of times you overcome in life if you're just brave enough to keep going, really. All right, so here's what you're going to need if you want to make this. And I will preface this by saying, yes, I have pulled in quite a few things from my own stash. And the reason that I've done that is because I felt like that in this box, there were some very different, I like the whole box. Let me say that. I'm not saying I don't like it. I really did like it. But I didn't feel like that you could use everything in the box together, okay? So, for instance, these beads, they have the hot pink fleck in them, and they look pretty with this. But if you want to bring in the blue, it doesn't really go because this fleck in here is very, very, very green. It's not blue. It's like Kelly green. So I felt like that, see it? It's very, very green. So I just felt like that to pull in these guys, which are the greenest beads in the box, except for, where'd that other one go? This one, and it didn't really work either. To pull these in with that green fleck, it needed something green. I don't know, so I was having a really hard time. But I like all these beads, I just don't necessarily like them together. These, I felt like were, and I know this probably sounds really picky, but I'm very OCD about stuff like this. So I felt like these were a shade off from this. So to pull them in, they just kind of didn't totally work. Now the pearls go better, but anyway, I had trouble is what I'm trying to say. And so I pulled some things from my own stash. Now all the beads I'm using are from the box, okay? So we've got those two really pretty with the flecks in them. We've got some of the pink, tinier pink pearls. I've got two of the blue pearls. I've got several of these marbled glass beads. I have some of the teal kind of colored beads, and I was actually wanting to put in a couple of these crackle glass too. Maybe. We'll see. So these guys. Okay, so we'll see. But anyway, so these beads I'm using are all from the box. Now, I'm using this key charm. This is not from the box, but I'm going to hang the tassel from it. This is a guide. You can go in your own stash and find something. If you don't have a key charm, how about a piece of filigree that you might have that you could hook leather on both ends or something? There are other things you can use. You could even just use a ring, just a regular ring and hang the tassel from that. So you got to use your imagination a little bit. Here is a little charm that I'm going to use and a little feather charm. And then these two beads I thought were cool because they look kind of like tassels. So I don't know if I'll use them or not, but I pulled them out. I've got some spacer beads in a bright silver. I've got some leather. This is a 1mm. It's kind of like a grayish brownish leather. It's variegated, but I thought it looked pretty with this. I pulled this out of a Jesse James beads kit that I had from a long time ago. It's just a tassel, but I think it kind of pulls all these colors in, especially these lighter blues in here and this pink. So we're going to go with that. I have some pieces of a sparkly silver ball chain, and I'm wanting to use that. And we're going to add to the tassel. So, and then I've got these fiber pieces. Now these kind of fibers, they come on a little card. You can get them like at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and usually there's a bunch of different, like these came together. All these came together. But as you can see, they're just little pieces of this fiber stuff, and I just think they're going to kind of give this tassel a little bit of boho oomph. Okay, I have some 24 gauge wire, and I have some GS Hypo cement. We're going to use all this stuff today and make a cool necklace. All right, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to stabilize this tassel a little bit. So I wanted to make it bigger than just using one little piece. So we're going to glue them together with this GS Hypo cement. And all I'm going to do is just take it and literally, I just want to glue them together. I do want them to be even in a line. So let's just keep on going. And then we're going to wire wrap them. So this doesn't necessarily have to, it's not going to have to hold them together. Like when we're done, our necklace is not going to fall apart if this doesn't hold. All this is doing is going to give us a little stable bit to wire wrap. Let me see if I can never get this thing back in here very good. There we go. All right. So now I'm just going to push this together, and it's got to dry. So hold yours together until it dries, and then come back. We won't sit and watch glue dry on camera. Okay, I will say GS Hypo Cement does not dry very fast at all. So I took a little piece of wire and wrapped around it because it was taking forever. Okay, so now we're going to use it again, and we're going to glue in some of these little pieces. And I may even pull out my E6000 because this stuff is, no, it's kind of getting on my nerves. But I'm just going to cover this whole thing with this glue pretty good. And then we want to glue, I'm just going to leave it there for a second. We want to glue our little fibers in. And the reason we're doing this is we want to just kind of make sure they lay where we want them to lay. So like this blue one, and this again, this is just giving it a little stability. It's not a huge deal if it doesn't, you know, it's just going to give it a little stability and kind of hold things in place so that when we go to wire wrap, everything won't move around all over the place, because it tends to do that when you wire wrap. At least I've found that it does. All right, so what I'm doing, I'm getting this on my hand and gluing my hand to the thing, is I'm just making sure that these hang kind of level with the bottom of the tassel. They don't have to be perfect. And I'm just adding a little glue on top. And I just want to kind of give it some stability, like I said, and just get them to lay kind of where I want them to go. That's all I'm doing. You don't even have to do this. If you're good with wire wrapping, then you probably don't even need to do this. But I'm not the best wire wrapper. I'm getting better, but I'm not the best at it. So I just kind of want to stabilize this a little bit before I go wrapping it all the way around with wire. I'm just going to stabilize everything, kind of get things where I want them to go. And again, oh gosh, I can't even talk. E6000 probably would have been better for this. I don't use this stuff much, but the reason I did this is because I knew that it would dry clear. And E6000 dries clear, but I don't know. I don't know why I used this. I just did. Okay, so there's all of our little pieces. I'm going to put a little bit more glue on here. And like I said, all that's going to do is stabilize things and just help it to kind of hold together a little so I can wire wrap it without things going everywhere. All right. Now, I'm even going to go ahead and lay my little silver chain pieces in here. Just like this. And I know there's a bunch sticking out the top. I'm just trying to make everything pretty much level with the bottom of the tassel. Now, it can be a little bit off. It doesn't have to be perfect. But we're going to do this. Okay. So now we got this whole little mess here. And again, we're just going to let this dry for a few minutes. I'm going to let it dry for about 20 minutes and then come back, and then we'll go with our wire wrap. One more thing I wanted to mention before this dries is take an eye pin. Okay, so I've got this eye pin here. Insert it down kind of into the middle of this mass right here that we've got going on. You want it to be in the middle, okay? And then continue to let this dry. And what that's going to do is give us a little bail to hang this from, because I am not really good at wire wrapping a cone and making a bail. I don't want to have to do that. So we're going to cheat a little bit, and we're going to insert this eye pin down in here. Here he is. You want him in the middle. Get him as far into the middle as you can, just like that. And then let all this dry. You know, you can kind of push it down to make it, you want it to kind of be firm. and it's going to create a little wire wrapping platform for us. So go ahead and let all that dry once you put your eye pin in, and then come right on back. Okay, so this is kind of dry. It's not so sticky, and it's kind of together here. It looks like a weird little voodoo doll or something. I don't know. But we're going to wire wrap. So I'm just going to take my wire. I'm going to go around to the back of this tassel. And I'm just going to start right here. And you want to wrap fairly tight. Okay. And I'm not going to make it real neat because I want this to be kind of the boho messy look. But I'm not going to make it super messy either. And I'm just going to do a little bit of wrapping. I've got glue on me. So around and around and around. Okay, just like that. And I'm just going to go up over. I want to go to about the top of where my little tops here are on the tassel. Okay, so we're going to go right here. I'm doing it very tight. And I'm going to go back down a little bit. And now when I get around to the front here at this point, where I've got it wrapped pretty good, here's my eye pin sticking out the top right there, okay? And I want to put a jump ring on this so I can hang this guy, because I want him to hang right there. I think he's really cute. And I found that it's a little bit easier to put the jump ring on now than to try to loosen your wire after you've wrapped and wrapped and wrapped and wrapped and wrapped. So I'm just getting a jump ring out, a little tiny one. I'm just going to use like a little 6mm, or maybe this is 5, I don't know. And I'm just going to go ahead, and I don't even need to, well, yeah, I'm going to hook him on. I do need to open it. I'm going to hook him right on here. You could wire wrap him directly on, but I feel like it's going to hang better if it's on a jump ring than it would if it was just wire wrapped directly on there. And I'm just going to slide it right onto my wire, right here. Okay. And then continue to wrap. Now I'm going to go around to the back. I'm going to wrap a couple times after that jump ring. And then I'm going to go around to the back here. And I'm just going to try to tuck. You don't want to have to tuck. You can just kind of pin it down and stick it down in your, you know, flatten it. But I really kind of like to tuck with this kind of thing, because if this coil starts coming loose, you're going to have a mess. There's going to be a bunch of stuff. So I just try to take it, find a spot that's a little loose, probably on the bottom, like right there. And just tuck it down in there. Pull it tight. And you can flatten everything back up here in just a second. See, there's my wire that I had holding everything a minute ago. Pull it tight. I'm going to go around another time. And then I'll just lay it down wherever it ends up. Right here is on the front. It's going to be behind the little thing, which is good. So I'm just going to kind of lay it down here with my plier. Just find a little spot to kind of lay it down and tuck it in. And you can use a wider plier and that will work. And see, that way, this is hanging in front of it. So it's going to be, you know, and the back, you can lay these down. You can take your plier here and just kind of lay these down right here. And it does not have to be perfect. Again, it's the boho style. And if there's any little loose ends, like this is the little piece that I put on in the beginning, just to hold everything together, I'm just going to tuck it up in there. I'm not going to try to take it off, but you can take your pliers and just kind of tuck these little loose pieces in and flatten things out. Okay. So here's what we've got. Now we're not going to leave all this on the top, because I know some people are probably like, I don't like that coming out the top. well, I think it's kind of cute actually, but we're not going to leave it because we put an eye pin on here. So here he is. He's sticking out the bottom. We don't want him sticking out the bottom, not that far anyway. So I'm going to take my cutter. I'm going to trim this eye pin. And then I'm going to take my round nose plier and I'm just going to kind of make a little round loop on the end just so it doesn't poke anything, really. You can just kind of do that. And we've got our little eye pin in there. Now I'm going to fluff my tassel. Somehow I got a piece of the tassel through the eye pin. We don't really want that. Let me pull that out. I don't know if you can hear Sadie, but she is snoring beside me. And I want to move this a little bit more this way. So I'm just going to loosen this up just a little bit and scoot him over a little. I just want him to hang in the middle where all the other stuff is. There we go. So it's kind of cute, I think. Now we're going to trim all this off at the top. So chains are easy. Just trim them. These little ball chains. Now, if you're good at wire wrapping and you want to make like a perfect cone top on this and all that, you go right ahead and do it. I'm not good at wire wrapping and I do not want to make a perfect cone top on the top of this. And so now I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim this up. These are not very sharp scissors, are they? Good heavens. I thought they were. I think I've cut tape with them, packing tape, and that's not helping them any. There we go. Maybe I got resin on them. It's hard to tell. So there we have our super cute little tassel. Now, if you want to trim that down more on the top, you can. And really, the little chains aren't even showing that are in here, are they? There's one. But you can trim that down if you want on the top. I might trim it up just a little. Let me get my better scissors. Chris is home, so it's going to get really loud. I was trying to sneak and do my video while he was at Aldi. There we go. So there is a cute little boho tassel. Okay, so here we have our little tassel. Now, we're going to hang him from the key with a jump ring. Now, let me point out here, there's a couple things I could have done with the key. I could do it right side up like this, but you have to look at where your, oh, just dropped the bead. You have to look at where your holes are going to be and how this is going to hang. So we're going to wire wrap leather onto this, okay? That's what we're going to do to hang it. So if you put this through here and wire wrap it, then you would have to put it through up here. So just be sure. I think I want to do it this way because I think I can wire wrap here and here, and it'll give more room to hang things down there. So that's the way I'm going to do it. Okay, so here we go. So I am going to take a fairly good sized jump ring. Not huge because it has to stay on here, but not, you know, tiny either. And I'm going to hang the tassel. Now I could do it from here, but I think I'm just going to hang it directly onto the key. And I want to make sure that it hangs the right direction. Do it in there. Yeah, maybe I should to keep it from sliding around a lot. I'm going to do it in that little hole. If you don't have a hole on your key, it's not a big deal. You can just hang it on the bar part right there. But that'll just keep it from doing too much sliding around. Okay, so there's our tassel. Now we got to decide what we want to do. I don't want to do too much more because it's really kind of pretty like it is. But I do want to get this bead in here for sure. And oh no, let's see, we've got our little key charms. I don't know if I'm even going to use that. I do like this feather. And I like this tassel bead. So maybe, let's see. I might do this guy, and I've got some eye pins here because I want to be able to do a couple little dangle type things. It'd be nice to put something right there. Let me grab a head pin. I've got some ball head pins here. And I might put one of these little tiny beads right up here. With a spacer maybe. So let's do like a spacer. And this blue pearl. Just right in there. It needs something right there, I think. I'm going to do a wrapped loop. So I bend it 90 degrees. Then I take my round nose pliers and come up and over. Rotate them up and then come under here. And I'm just going to do a little wrapped loop and hang this from a small jump ring right there. Well, it won't be able to be a small jump ring. It'll actually have to be a bigger one because of that key, but that's okay. So I'm going to wrap this around a couple of times. Okay, just like that. Trim it off. Somewhere, somehow. My cutters are dull. They really are. There's no way to sharpen them. Somebody said that Xuron has a lifetime warranty, but I don't think it covers the sharpness. I think it's over like the little spring thing in here that holds your pliers together and stuff. But I'm gonna have to get some new cutters because mine are just, they're not working. Okay, so I would like to put him in there with a jump ring. So let me grab a jump ring here. And it's got to be a fairly big one to go around this piece of the key. I don't know what that's called. I'm sure it has a name. The shank of the key or something. I don't know. But there, we're just going to hang that right there like that. Now, I do want to hang this guy on here. And I think I'll do him with an eye pin and maybe hang the feather from him. So let's go ahead and put him on here. He just really brings a lot of these colors together with this other thing too. So I like it. I think it's pretty. Again, a wrapped loop. I just like wrapped loops. You don't have to do wrapped loops if you don't want to. It's just totally a design decision. You don't have to do it. So, but I like them. Okay. And we're going to hang the feather from it, from the bottom here. And you know, it's really a better idea when you're doing wrapped loops if you hang whatever you're going to put on that jump ring or that bottom loop first before you make your wrapped loop at the top. I always forget, but it makes it easier to get your little loop open and it just keeps everything tighter. It's better that way. Okay, and I'm just going to hang that right there. So let me get a jump ring. Just going to hang it right in here. Don't want to go in here, maybe in here. Now you could hang all kinds of stuff from this if you wanted to. I mean, you could do just bunches of beads. You could do all kinds of stuff, but I don't really want to do a whole big lot. I think it's kind of pretty like it is. I might do this here. Maybe. I don't know. I may not even use that. I want to hang something over here. I kind of like to use a dark blue bead. I might do the blue and the pink together. That'd be kind of cute. So let's just get a ball head pin. I'm not going to do anything too elaborate. Just hang these two guys together. Did not make a very good loop there. These stainless steel ball head pins, they're stainless steel, which is really nice, but they are, they're tough. They're tough to bend, and you could even just make a regular loop with these, I would think, and they would be just fine. They wouldn't come undone. Like most ball head pins are thin, you know, and they'll come undone. Not these guys. And Holly she told me this little trick. If you're trying to tuck in a snag, use your crimping pliers, the little divots in here in your crimping pliers, and it works perfect. So thank you to Holly. That made my life a lot easier. So I'm just going to grab another jump ring. And we're just going to hook this guy right in here. It doesn't really matter which one you put him in. He's probably going to move around a little. It's pretty cute. I like it. I love boho stuff though. So I think that might be all I do. I'm not going to do a whole lot more to it. It doesn't need a whole lot. I mean, the tassel is really cute. It really doesn't need a whole lot more. I kind of wanted to get one of these guys on here. I don't know how I would do it. I could put him right there maybe. You know what I may do? Because I kind of wanted to get the fan or this tassel bead on here. I'm going to open this up. I could actually leave it there probably. I'm going to do an eye pin instead and do these two beads here, the pink and the blue. Same thing. I'm going to go ahead with a wrapped loop here. And I'm going to hang that fan bead on the bottom of this as a dangle. I just think it's going to look cute like that. Okay. Then we'll take this little tassel bead or fan bead, whatever you want to call it, and make a little dangle out of it too. I could put a little, if it would look good with a little spacer bead on the end up here. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Come up and over. Now I'm going to go ahead and insert this on here right now just so I don't have to open that back up, that little ring. Makes it a little bit easier. Grab it, and then we're just going to wrap. Again, these stainless steel ones, they're a little hard to get a hold of and wrapped around sometimes. Okay. Trim this up. Use these to tuck it. Works great. Okay, and then I'm just going to find my jump ring that I had before and hang it right on there. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That's cute. All right. I feel like I need one more over here, like a long one or something down here. I don't know, maybe not. I do. All right, so let's do this eye pin. It doesn't need it to be super long, but we need something over here. So we're going to take this eye pin. What am I going to put on the bottom of it? Kind of like to do maybe another one of these guys. Look in the... I don't really like that with the pink. Can do this over here. That'd be kind of cute. We may do that. Okay. So let me go ahead and put these on. I'm going to make it a 3-layer thing. That's what I'm going to do. So we'll put this guy on next. Do a little spacer bead like we did on the other side. Okay, so we'll do him, and then this little guy by itself. So let's go ahead and put him. Let's start from the bottom up, since we're going to be doing wrapped loops. I'm going to do this little wrapped loop here on the bottom. wrap this a couple of times. And you all, you know, of course you can do this however you want. This is just kind of how I'm doing it, but it's definitely up to your own creative control. You do it however you want to do it. I've got to get new cutters. Should be using my memory wire cutters probably with that, because it is stainless steel, just like memory wire. Probably why my cutters aren't working, right? Okay, and we're going to open this guy up and go ahead and hang this on here, just so we don't have to reopen that loop after it's been wrapped closed. It's easier to do it this way. Okay, going to make a wrapped loop here. Come up and over. Grab this right here and wrap. Trim right here. And then we'll go ahead and hook it on here. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and do this one. Let me fix that. I have that a little crooked. There we go. All right, so same thing here, wrapped loop. So Kathy, I hope this gives you some ideas on how to use the tassel. There was several things that I debated doing. I even thought about gluing them to filigree. I looked at that. I looked at a bunch of different stuff to do with it, but this is what I came up with. I wrapped down too far, left too much room on that, but it's okay. Just get a lot of wrapping in here. I do like tassels, not necessarily hot pink ones, but I don't know, toned down with the blue. I think it's kind of pretty. That hot pink is not a color that I gravitate towards, but like I said, it's toned down with the blue and makes it kind of nice. So we're going to use this little jump ring here. We're going to hang this right on, right here. Now again, you don't have to do this much if you don't want to. I've seen people load these up with beads and charms, and I mean just make like a whole thing, but I'm just going to stop at that. Get some of these out of the way. And our leather is going to be super simple. We're not even going to have a clasp on this. It's going to be an over the head type thing. So what you need to do is figure out where you want this to lay on your body. Okay, and measure your leather accordingly. And you need to leave just a little bit of room on your leather for you to wrap your ends, bend up and wrap your ends. So keep that in mind. But here's what I've come up with. Let me see how long this is. I just put it on me and kind of see where I like it to hang. So we've got 12, 24, about 37 inches, okay? And all I'm going to do is take this and hook it right through here on this key. Now, let me just say, I'm going to go through from the front to the back. If you don't have a key or something like that with a loop that you could hook it through like this, you could use a jump ring, another ring, and hook it on to the regular shaft part of the key if you wanted to. But we're just going to go through there. We're going to take a little bit of our wire. Doesn't have to be a huge bit for this. You could tie knots too if you wanted. I just kind of wanted to bring the wire wrap on up here into the leather. And then I don't worry about getting that bottom piece neat yet. I worry about getting this around here and secured. Okay, so just Leave your bottom little tail hanging out. Don't worry about it yet, and just make sure that you get this started, because it's hard to get started. Once you get it started, then you can work on that little, you can deal with the tail. But once you get started, you just start wrapping, and you're just wrapping the two pieces of wire or two pieces of leather together. That's literally all you're doing. And you want to do it tight because you don't want them to come undone. So pull it in there tight. You can do it as messy or as neat as you want. And I'm just going to make a nice little coil up, just like that. I'm going to trim my top piece. And then I'm going to trim the bottom piece. And then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm just going to tuck them both. So you just want to lay this down. That's all you have to do. And same on the other side. I'm just going to lay it down. Just like that. And then if you want to scrunch this whole coil together a little, you can with your pliers. Just like that. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to trim that up just a bit more. And there we've got our one end hooked on. I'm going to pull it around, get everything laying like I want it to lay to make sure that it's going to look right. I'm going to come on around up here. And then on this side, I'm going to hook it right here onto this. And I'm going to do the same thing. Just come up and under. Grab a piece of wire. Okay, and we're just going to wrap. And again, I'm not really worrying about my tail. I just kind of hold him between my fingers and start wrapping, and then once I get the wrap going, then I'll worry about tucking the tail later. But it's hard to get the wrap going sometimes, so you have to kind of, that's kind of what I focus on, I guess. Little tail's there, he'll still be there. Okay, and you want to kind of make it look like your other one, so just take a look at your other one, see how far down you need to go here. And how far up you need to go, and how big or bulky that you made your other one, so you want them to look the same. Or close to the same. Okay, that's getting pretty close. I'm going to go around one more time. Around to the back. And cut my wire. Cut. Now my tail, I'm going to try to take him around once because I noticed my other one has started a little bit lower. But I figured I'd just use the tail piece for that. You can use your pliers to help you. Just go around. If you needed to come down a little bit more, I needed to get like a coil down here at the bottom. Okay, bring it around. And trim. And then just take your plier and tuck it. You just want to make sure that those little pieces are laying down and they're not going to poke you or your clothes or whoever you might be going to give this to. That's all you got to do. And then just take it and kind of scrunch it together if you want. And then we'll trim off our little piece of leather. And there is our super cute boho tassel. And this can go right over your head. No need for a clasp or anything. Just fits right over your head. Alright guys, let me put this on a form and I'll be right back to show it to you. Okay, so here we are in the light box, and I think it's turned out really cute. So we got a lot going on here with our little tassel and our dangles and our fibers and our key, but I think it's a cute little boho necklace. I wish my camera would focus. There we go. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I have links to the curated bead box in the description box below this video. You can subscribe, and I have a 35% off coupon, which would make your first box around $13. So if you want to do that, the information's in the description box below the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.